Mrs. Kindly lives in a cottage by the railway. Mrs. Kindly loves trains and waves when they go by. Once, when she was ill in bed, she saved Thomas from an accident. The Fat Controller sent her to Bournemouth to get well. Thomas and Toby missed her greatly and looked forward to welcoming her home again. Toby saw her first. "There's Mrs. Kindly!" His driver, fireman and all the passengers waved to welcome her home. Thomas was pleased too. His trains were heavy at Christmas time. I can't do it, he panted sometimes. But Mrs. Kindly cheered him on. "Oh yes, I can," he would puff bravely, forgetting the hard work. Thomas had never forgotten how she had saved him from an accident and always wanted to thank her properly. Toby agreed with him, and so did their drivers and firemen. "Let's give her a party at Christmas," they said. "Where can we hold it?" they wondered. "Our shed's much too small. There's no room for anyone else when we're inside." But Thomas's driver wouldn't give up. "Let's try Tidmouth," they said. "I'm sure the big engines will like a party in their grand new shed. We'll ask them when we go there tonight." The big engines were delighted. "We'd like that," they said. "A party would be fun." "A party for Mrs. Kindly," said the Fat Controller. "What a good idea of Thomas. Let me see. We've no trains on Christmas or Boxing Day. We all want Christmas at home, of course. So Boxing Day would be best." So they made an invitation card. "Thomas, Toby and friends request the pleasure of the company of Mr. and Mrs. Kindly at a party at the new engine shed, Tidmouth, on Boxing Day at 5 p.m. RSVP, Sir Topham Hatt, Wellsworth, Sodor." Thomas and Toby were with the big engines in Tidmouth shed for Christmas, while Annie, Clarabel and Henrietta joined the other coaches in theirs. They were looking forward to the party, and were so warm and snug that they had quite forgotten the weather outside. Till the Fat Controller came bursting in. "The weather's changed," he called out. "It's snowing hard at Farquhar. Mr. and Mrs. Kindly are cut off. We need snowplows to fetch them tomorrow." "What about it, Thomas?" asked the Fat Controller. He knew that Thomas hated snow. Thomas said bravely, "I'll try, sir. We must rescue them. We must." "Can I help, sir?" asked Toby. "That's a good engine," smiled the Fat Controller. "You two will manage splendidly." Early next morning, Thomas and Toby were both fitted with snowplows and arranged back to back with a van carrying workmen coupled between them. They charged the snowdrifts fiercely. Sometimes they swept the snow aside, sometimes they stuck fast. When they stuck, they drew back so that the men from the van could loosen the hard-packed snow. Then on they went again. It was hard and tiring work for everybody. But at the cutting near the cottage, they could go no further.
"Look at that!" exclaimed Thomas's fireman. Then they heard a familiar sound. "That's Terence," said Thomas. "He's come to help too." Sure enough, Terence had a snowplow and was working hard to clear a path to the railway line in safety.
Henrietta was being swept, dusted and decorated as never before. She felt very proud of herself, and when she was ready, Percy, who had also been given a snowplow, took her to Elsbridge to wait for Thomas and Toby. Presently, Thomas and Toby arrived. They had a good rest and clean up.
The engines made good time. No more snow had fallen, but the yard was dark. Thomas's heart sank. Suddenly, all the lights went on. What a marvelous sight awaited Mrs. Kindly. "Well done," said the Fat Controller. "I'm really proud of you all." Mrs. Kindly especially thanked the smaller engines. "Thomas and Toby are all friends," she said. "And now, Percy, you are my friend too." Percy was very pleased.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.